Well, Keith, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You've been in business and in public service for a while. Tell us a little about your business career a little bit.
Business career, I guess first real job, about 10 years, I worked for an engineering firm in Raleigh. I traveled just about every week for 10 years. And matter of fact, sometimes I would spend maybe 6 months on the road, travel back and forth every other weekend. I spent 6 months in New Jersey. I have been to 45 states. I
did not know this about you.
Yes, I've been. I see people put those little lists up. How many states have you been to? I've been to 45 states. I've been to Puerto Rico twice for Merck Pharmaceuticals. And when I say for Merck, they hired the firm I work for.
Right.
And I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Canada.
Now you just need to stop right there. You just need to stop right there, Keith.
But most of that was on business.
Right. And then, and I know that wasn't, because I remember when we first met, I think you were working with Monrovia. And
yes, when after, I say 10 plus years in Raleigh with the engineering firm, my wife, it helped put her through pharmacy school. We bought a home in Fuquay Arena. And we kind of looked at each other one day, as before our kids. It was 1997. And we looked at each other and said, what do we want to do? And I was an only child here from Kinston. And we both said, let's go home. And we love the beach. So half the distance to the coast. But we just said, let's go home and start our family. And so we moved back home. We actually moved to LaGrange in my wife's grandmother's house. We kind of gutted it. It was an older brick home, beautiful little home, but we gutted it, new floor, new walls, new wallpaper, paint, new heating system, the whole works. And we started a family that year in December of 97. My son was born, but and been back here ever since. We don't live in LaGrange now. We live just south of LaGrange on a farm, family farm. And been out there for 19 years.
Well, and you served, I know you still are in business now. I know you're in real estate, but you first served on the school board for nearly a decade. Why did you want to get on the school board?
Well, matter of fact, I was asked. I was asked by several folks here in the county, calling me, said, please think about the school board. I honestly don't know why they chose me. I was very involved with the Chamber of Commerce in LaGrange, the Chamber here, Rotary, some of our civic organizations. And I was asked, and I said, well, something I hadn't thought about, but I did have 2 small kids that were in school. And I said, I think it'd be a great way to serve the community. I knew several of the school board members. I remember one of my neighbors from over on Eleanor Drive, right behind where I grew up, Mr. John Hooten was my backdoor neighbor. And he was school board member and school board chair several years ago. And I just remember looking up to him as a school board member. I just thought that was...
I still remember the day Mayor Buddy Rich went to Kinston High School, and I just thought, the president walked through the door.
But I just thought, I was like, that's important. It's so important. And the more I thought about it, I used to tell people 10 years ago on the campaign trail, I'd say, the school board folks are always the last ones to get to speak or answer questions at a debate or a forum. I would always say, but to me, they're the most important candidates up here because they have your kids. They provide the policies for your kids. They're it. They're in charge basically of the schools. They hire and fire the superintendent, and he leads all the schools here.
Right.
And so I did it. And
how did that role with the school board and even with business? Your business background help you transition to becoming a Lenoir County Commissioner? Definitely
a big help because I know we work so well as a school board with our county commissioners and vice versa. We had great relationships with them. Our superintendent and our county manager worked really well together. They kept us informed. To me, it was an easy rollover, but a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn coming from the school board to the county level. People think, they just, county commissioners control the money. They control the budget. So much more than that. You just don't realize how many employees are employed by our county.
Right.
And how many different departments, Department of Social Services, emergency management, and it's just goes on. And it is a learning experience. 10 months into the job now, I feel good, but I learn something almost every day.
In the past, I don't know if it was through interviews with Christy Kelly, our assistant publisher, or just in your tenure, you've emphasized, economic development to sustain growth here. Tell us about some things you're working on, or how you see the future of economic development, getting better jobs here for our citizens.
Well, I think we're already seeing some of that, being rewarded from the hard work that our folks have done and others in our economic area, kind of the Wayne, Lenoir Jones area, Green. You're seeing the C-130 project come into fruition. Some good paying jobs there. Our aviation center is going to be built soon.
Right.
But we need some more land. We're working on that now. You see some growth in Wayne County. They had land. Businesses want to come in now, and they don't want to spend a lot of time researching for land, trying to buy land, negotiating for land.
Right.
They want to come in and they want to either build on what's there, or they want to move into what's already built there.
So if I'm driving from Kinston to Snow Hill and I'm taking Highway 58 and the airport's on my left and I see the runway, right after the runway I see a lot of like silt fencing over there, and I see construction. Tell me about what's happening right there. That's going to be some more additional projects coming. That's land that we do have now. Your Draken. Gosh, I'd love to see Fly Exclusive continue to grow. There's other land around there that we're looking at as well. We've tried to get some land that the state owns around the industrial park over by the Walmart area. We've struggled a little bit with that. The state tends to want to hold on to. They do.
But we do. Like I said, we've got to kind of clear some land and have it ready.
Well, and as a property owner, and I know you own several properties. As part of what you do every day is maintain them, keep them up. Tell us about the balance of the tax rate versus our ability to grow our community.
Well, obviously, the more tax revenue we can take in, we can control the rate as far as keeping it down. And right now, this past year, we did not have a tax increase. I did not vote for a tax increase. I don't plan on voting for one. Right now, a lot of people have on their mind the reevaluation. It's coming out.
When is that coming?
It'll be coming out to all community members and stakeholders. Should be in February.
Okay.
No final numbers will be done until this year is over, meaning through December, because all sales will be taken into account, all home sales, because they want to be as accurate as they can be.
Right.
And those are comps, and those are comps, and those will be compared to what your house is worth and my house is worth, and the sale of a home near you, or a like home that you live in. So Ms. English, our director over at the tax office, is waiting to the very last minute to get those numbers done in January. And I will say, and I would ask the public, and I'll kind of look at the camera as I say that, I will ask the public to please take your time, learn the process. You will have plenty of opportunity to evaluate, to appeal. You will also have time to see videos that will teach you how the evaluations came about. We had a short meeting, I believe last Monday. We had a couple of commissioners at a time come in, and we talked about how they came about their numbers. And it's a little different, it's a little new, but I think it's better. I'm not saying it's going to be less, because we all know a lot of the prices have gone up through sales that we've seen.
Right.
But we're going to also, look at our tax rate once those evaluations come out, and if we may have to lower taxes, we may not. I certainly am not for any kind of a tax increase.
So you would, I don't want to sum up your philosophy, but so correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing from you is you would rather see us grow in job creation and value of homes and properties to sustain the tax rate where it is, versus having to increase the tax rate to help sustain the
Yes,
infrastructure.
and speaking as a property tax owner, we take a lot of the burden.
Right.
You know, other property owners, we do have a heavy burden on us, and that's the way it's been, and probably will continue to be for a long time. But obviously, if we bring more business in, we're going to get more tax revenue, more sales tax.
Right.
Anything we can do to generate our revenue will help us as property owners and everyone.
Well, thinking about, I don't want to switch gears just for a second. Think about public safety. Sheriff Rogers been there for a couple of years now. You've been on the team for 10 months with the county. Tell us about I mean, sheriff is elected, but has a budget provided for by the county. Tell us about the relationship with Sheriff Rogers and our efforts with as it pertains to public safety, crime, et cetera.
I think the Board of Commissioners has a wonderful relationship with Sheriff Rogers. I've known him for many years. We're not quite neighbors, but we do live in close proximity to one another. Matter of fact, I coached his son in baseball for many years. Wonderful family. But we have a great relationship with him. He is doing a wonderful job. He is loved by our community, the entire county. I just see people coming up to him when I'm with him at different events. And he's doing a great job, and he puts it out there. He puts it out there for all of us to see what he's doing, and I like that. And the public likes that, and we have a great working relationship. He knows when to come ask for something, and he knows when, hey, maybe that's a little over the top. You know, he knows to control his spending, but we want him to have the best equipment he can have. You know, he's told me several times that unfortunately our criminal activity, some of them have some of the best equipment you can buy. That sounds crazy, and I don't mean guns. I mean surveillance equipment, other type of equipment that our criminals have that we've got to continue to do better to provide our sheriff and others, his staff as well as others, with the means to keep our public safe. And public safety is obviously one of the 2 or 3 things on the top of my list.
Well, and I was going to ask you, what are some of the other issues that could be at the top there? Because when I think about the county and the county government, you mentioned social services a while ago. You mentioned education. We just talked about crime. Public safety. What are some other areas of interest for citizens of the county?
Well, I think obviously development. We've got to continue to develop and grow and bring jobs. And some of those jobs, people may live outside the county, but they're coming here to work, coming here to spend their money, whether it be gas, food, shopping, whatever it is. We've got to continue to develop. I'm all for our public transportation that we have. It may not be buses like you would see in a larger city, but I think we have a pretty good transportation system. They come right to your home, pick you up. We go to Greenville, to doctor's offices, round trips. I think it's very affordable, considering the price of a car, the price of insurance for your car, your fuel. So public transportation, Department of Social Services is big. Those are just tough jobs to fill nowadays. It's a tough job.
Right.
Those people are just wonderful people, and I can't imagine how tough their job is. It's just tough. Life is tough now, and it's different than. I'm a little older than you are.
Yeah, but
a little bit.
Linda Rouse Sutton used the term earlier. She said mature. She was like, as I've matured, and I'm like, yeah, I'm there too. I tell my youngest daughter, these aren't gray hairs; they're platinum blonde. But yeah, they're there.
They're there. You still got some.
Yeah,
I still got. I'm glad I've got a few.
Well, and real quick, think about the future of Lenoir County. What is it that you want to accomplish? And assuming you're reelected. You may not win, you may win, but just assuming for a second you are reelected. What is something Keith King wants to see the county do moving forward?
Well, if I may, one thing I have kind of seen come to fruition through my school board years is our new middle school coming.
Right.
People say, well, why'd you get on the board? Why'd you want to run for? Say, what's your agenda? I didn't really have an agenda. My agenda was for the best for our kids, our parents and our staff. The best for them. But I would say if there was one item I wanted through those 9 years, I always said I would love to see a new middle school in LaGrange. Like, it's just so outdated. It had to be rebuilt or build a new one. And finally it's happening. We have a groundbreaking next week. Looking forward to that. So one thing that did happen, and it wasn't me, obviously, but, you know, I would kind of keep on Superintendent Williams, and he saw the way to get it.
Right.
And it's happening, thank goodness, for our
Right.
folks. And, you know, Frank serves a lot of people.
Does.
A lot of kids, a lot of teachers, a lot of parents. But for the future, if I am fortunate enough to be reelected, you know, I want to continue to make our community safer. We just got to get safer, and Jackie's doing a great job. But I want to see us as a board, county board, work more closely with our city council. And I think that can happen. And I think I think it happens, and then maybe it doesn't happen over years.
Right.
They kind of break away, and it's, you know, it's different folks. You know, folks are changing on the boards
Right.
all the time, whether it's through reelection or elections, or someone leaves the board. In my case, you know, I had someone move away, and I was able to be appointed.
Right.
But I just want to see us work together. Yeah, we're working well with Pink Hill, LaGrange. We have a new town manager over there,
Right.
Mr. Condon. He's a super guy, Sean. I've dealt with him now 2 or 3 occasions lately, and he has just been right on the spot with everything he's helping with. But I really would like to see a better relationship with the city council.
All right.
And it's not their fault, our fault, somebody's fault. It's just, we just got to get together. I think we have that relationship with our school system. I would like to see that relationship with our city council.
Fantastic.
I'm just being honest. That's what I want to see.
Well, listen,
And they're
Keith,
good people.
and listen, you know, on behalf of the citizens, I just want to say thank you for your service,
Well, thank you.
both with the school board and commissioners, and wish you the best in this election. I know it's going to hopefully a short night, but I feel with the presidential and the gubernatorial, it's going to be a pretty long night.
It's going to be tough.
But we'll see what happens. But thank you for your willingness to serve and for coming and chat with us today.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a good time, sir.